Chief Meteorologist Chase Jones.
Okay, so we finally made it to Friday. Everybody keeps talking about some of this rain by tomorrow around the afternoon. And by the time we get to the Futurecast, I'm going to let you guys decide because, you know, by the evening, my model loves to update and some of that rain just likes to not show up. Now, keeping our eye on the returning cloud cover because there's a possibility for a little bit of rain to try to make its way in, but we'll see. Things like to be a little over ambitious all the way back down into those lower 60s and right back up to 90 degrees, still inside the 30-degree spread. And now we're going to see how quickly we cool off with some of those stronger winds out of the south. Get ready for a beautiful Friday night. Then inside the game right after that, 90 in San Angelo. Everybody else in a combination of those upper 80s, if not those mid 80s across the entire area. 92 and 93 in Ballinger, looking like 87 there in El Dorado. 6 degrees across the entire Concho Valley for a beautiful end to a short week, but it feels like it was longer than that. Dew points are way up there in those 50s and those 60s, while humidity indices are in those 30s across the entire Concho Valley. So you can see the dynamic setup we are looking for some of that moisture to make its way in, and dry air definitely making its way down from the panhandle. But as we get closer towards next week, you have about 2 weeks officially until Halloween. We're going to see that cutoff low off the west coast rejoin the upper level pattern, and we're going to see some strong winds making their way across the panhandle, and we'll be just on the edge of it. Now, moisture is going to follow those winds as we see it push up into the Concho Valley, then quickly make its way out while all this dry air finally calms things down across the entire United States for a beautiful weekend. But it's setting up for some drier weather making its way in. You'll see the heat fight back and forth with some of those cooler temperatures trying to make its way down from the north. It's really creeping its way in some areas already feeling those freezing temperatures, but not down here in the Concho Valley. Severe weather outlook has just stretched across from the panhandle all the way up into the Great Lakes, and we take it down to the surface to get a better idea of the size of this cold front. Now, the winter storm that was pummeling the Rocky Mountains is on its way out, but this is the front we have our eye on as we get closer towards tomorrow and this evening. Now, here comes the Futurecast. Let me know what you guys see. We see a little bit of light rain shower activity. We'll see if it shows up. Here comes that cold front by Saturday morning. We'll see if it wants to show up pretty light towards the north. Then it makes its way quickly out for a beautiful afternoon. But look how strong that gets as it makes its way off towards the east and makes its way behind me. Dry air right behind it. So we're expecting a drop in temperatures and some windier conditions. Now, it's the Stanton Buffaloes. I don't know why that's the only team I've gotten right. We're basically towards the end of playoff, but the temperature's going to cool off pretty nicely. And if you're still going after the game all the way down into those lower 60s, but those stronger winds I'm going to keep my eye on. Then tomorrow, a beautiful run at those upper 80s. Come by and say hi at Ram Jam. But Miss Burke is back in the office, so we're going to throw the keys over to her as we get closer towards the end of the weekend. Here comes that cool down as we fight back and forth with those lower 90s and those lower 80s. Take a good look somewhere in those lower 50s. But as we close in on Halloween, we're going to level out in those 80s while those overnight lows hang out in those lower 60s. Stay tuned. I'll more up the break. You're watching KSAN News at 5.